This video is going to real briefly just talk about how to look at a triangle and find the six trig ratios from a triangle. That's it, just a right triangle, very straightforward. So here's the right triangle that we're going to look at. Pretty awful, but that's okay, it'll make do. Let's call this angle theta. And so from this, you need to understand that based off of angle theta, you have the opposite side of theta, the angle, you have the adjacent side, and you have the hypotenuse, which is always across from the 90-degree angle. Okay, so the opposite side is always opposite, it's not touching theta, and then the adjacent side and the hypotenuse create theta. And so you have six trig functions. You have the sine of theta, which is the opposite over the hypotenuse. You have the cosine of theta, which is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And you have the tangent of theta, which is the opposite over the adjacent. Then there's also three others that you get from doing the reciprocal of sine, cosine, and tangent. So we call that the cosecant of theta, and that is the reciprocal of sine, so it's the hypotenuse over opposite. The secant of theta is the hypotenuse over adjacent, and the tangent of theta, or the reciprocal of tangent, is the cotangent of theta, and that would be the adjacent over the opposite. And those are your six trig ratios that you can find from a triangle. So let's try one out. So if you have, if we are told to find the six trig ratios, oops, and we're given a right triangle, and let's say that this is 5, 12, and 13, nice Pythagorean triple, and let's go with angle theta there. What I would suggest that you do is I would suggest that you identify the opposite side, the hypotenuse, and the adjacent side. And so the adjacent side's got to be the 5 because it's touching theta. The 13 is the hypotenuse because it's across from the 90-degree angle, and 12 is the opposite because it's across from theta. And so now we can find our six trig ratios laid out. The thing I do is I just find the sine of theta, the cosine of theta, and the tangent of theta first. And then when it comes to the reciprocals, all I got to do is flip them. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so that's 12 over 13. The cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so that's 5 over 12. And tangent is opposite over adjacent, so that's 12 over 5. And so those are your first three. Then your next three you can find just by flipping those three. So you just have to make sure you do the right ones. So cosecant of theta goes with sine, secant of theta goes with cosine, and cotangent of theta goes with tangent. So you just flip them. 13 over 12, 12 over 5, and 5 over 12. And that'll be it. So have a great day.